Please bet on football games.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Please Bet on Football Games podcast. We are back with another breakdown of, this time, the NFC North division. I am your host, Alex, here with the on-air talent, Joe. How's it going today, Joe?
I'm very glad that we broke the Norths into two because, and is that a double play to end the inning? Yep, Cubs are going to get blown out by the Sox. Awesome. Because as I just basically laid bare, I am from Chicago, so I like this division a little bit more inherently, but also because I think this is the most interesting division in football this year, and I'm feeling very energized and ready to talk about it. Whereas a couple days ago, I was getting sleepy.
Yeah, no, I agree. We made the right choice breaking it up because obviously me being from Cleveland area and growing up a Browns fan, I feel the same way about the AFC North, and we always go deep on them. And now we're going to do it with, I agree with you. I think this is the most interesting division in football because not only are all of the teams supposed to be at least like competitive and fighting for a playoff spot, they could all be like good, like legitimately strong teams.
Absolutely.
And they're all pretty close to each other.
Geographically, but also in win totals.
So it's going to be good football and it's going to be competitive.
It just struck me how fucking dumb it is that the Dallas Cowboys are in the NFC East.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's a Northeast division, and they are neither North nor East. They are South and Middle. That's dumb. They should be in the NFC South. Give Carolina to the NFC East. They're as East as it gets. But let's talk about the NFC North.
First up, we have the Chicago Bears with a win total projection of 8.5 wins.
I lean over, but I'm terrified of it. Let me explain. The addition of Ben Johnson cannot be understated. I legitimately think he walks into this season, a rookie head coach, as a top 5 head coach in the NFL. I've written multiple articles explaining why I think that offensive play callers make for far better head coaches, and about why I think Ben Johnson is a uniquely excellent offensive play caller who also got all that rah-rah Dan Campbell culture bullshit deplatformed again.
You already did it earlier.
Awesome, sick. I don't even care. Nobody's ever going to listen to this podcast. But he got all that rah-rah culture bullshit rubbed off on him from Dan Campbell as well. So he's not just like the awkward savant White Sox home run. This is disgusting. I'm turning it off now.
Baseball season, man.
6-0 to the White Sox, Cubs. Really? Wow. But he's not just one of these, like, let's call it what it is. It's a little inappropriate. He's not just like some autistic genius who doesn't know how to talk to people and just calls the hell out of some plays, right? And he's not Henry Winkler from The Waterboy who like, oh, and then we go left, and then we fake right. Like, no, he's genuinely a genius, and that translates to his interpersonal skills, his organization, etc. I also don't think that experience matters because the guy who wins Coach of the Year is a first-year head coach like half the time. I think he walks in best coach in the division, one of the very best coaches in the league, and that's a huge difference. We're going to save the most interesting piece for last, but the offensive line. Bears fans, my entire life, Bears fans have been saying the offensive line is the problem. And not since Jay Cutler has it truly been the problem. Last year's no exception, but despite the fact that the offensive line was like mediocre last year and Caleb Williams just ate a lot of sacks because he wasn't seeing things properly, Darnell Wright is a good right tackle. Dare I say a very good one. He's a B-plus player. Braxton Jones is a fine enough left tackle. B- to B guy. He's fine. Then you add Joe Thuney, one of the very best guards in football, Jonah Jackson, a B guard, and Drew Dahlman, a B center. And you have a veteran, experienced offensive line that is 5 deep with legitimate starters, and you've got a really good swing tackle in Ozzie Trapilo. You've got a really good developmental piece in Kieran Amagadije. Can't say his name, but goddamn is he athletic. This is a beautiful offensive line. All 5 of these guys are both good in one facet of the game and at least adequate in the other. Like Drew Dahlman, decent pass blocker, sick run blocker. Same with Braxton Jones. Darnell Wright, more of a pass blocker, but he can still run block well enough. Like, I love this offensive line. I love the idea of just taking away every excuse from Caleb Williams. Oh, you don't have a great play caller? We got you the best fucking play caller. Oh, you don't trust your offensive line? This is a sick line full of veterans who have proven it and won big before. Wide receivers. DJ Moore's still great. Rome Odunze, way overrated, never should have been a top 10 pick, but he's a solid X receiver, right? Like he is a B to B plus player. He's fine. Then you add in Luther Burden, a steal. He'll be your slot receiver. Excellent after the catch, quicker than all hell, amazing hands. And you got dudes like Devin Duvernay, who's like a scat guy. Miles Boykin, they used to be teammates in Baltimore, and like Miles Boykin should be good. He's just huge and fast. Alamade Zacchaeus, the eternal one, the replacement level of slot wide receivers. Like I love the wide receivers. And then running back. People talk a lot of shit on DeAndre Swift. Last time he was with Ben Johnson in Detroit, he had almost identical stats to Jahmyr Gibbs. Maybe they were born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline, or maybe it's just fucking Ben Johnson can call the hell out of some run plays. And then Roshan Johnson's a really good backup. I think he can be a legitimate bell cow back in this league. And none of this is homerism because famously, I've hated the Bears for about 8 years. You were there when my fandom died entirely the night they drafted Mitch Trubisky, and I literally fell to my nose on the hardwood floor.
Yeah.
I sprinted. Halfway through my shift at Chipotle, I sprinted over to the place where we watched the draft. I made fun of you because I thought the Browns were going to trade up or going to draft Trubisky or trade back and draft Trubisky. They didn't. We traded up. We drafted Trubisky. I fell to my face. It hurt. And then I sprinted back to work to finish my fucking shift. It was one of the worst days imaginable. And for the first time since that day, the Bears had a chance to fully bring me back as a fan. And instead they drafted Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're going to see why you're not a homer as soon as we get to the quarterback.
Should I do it? Should I fucking go?
Yeah, I think it's time.
Okay. Before we do that, do you have anything to say about the Bears receivers or offensive line or Ben Johnson?
I mean, I kind of agree with you on everything. I'm not as bullish on him just because I think it's hard to come in as a first-year guy, even with some of that stuff. But I agree he's an incredible offensive mind, and they rebuilt this roster really well where it really is, can Caleb Williams do it? Because they have a variety of good role fillers in all of the skill positions, and then the offensive line is now legitimately good.
You could make a legitimate argument that your worst offensive starter is Rome Odunze, your top 10 pick from a year ago. Like, probably not, but it could be argued. Like,
yeah, and it reminds me of Ben Johnson was like, okay, well, I had these things in Detroit, and I can run a really good offensive. I can trust the offensive line and have a variety of people to give the ball to. Yeah. And that's what they did. So I think they did an incredible job building up this roster, and it is Caleb Williams. So now I will cede to you.
I'm going camera on because this is going to be a bit of a rant. And yes, I'm in my office. The entire offense hinges on whether or not Caleb Williams can just be okay. And with every passing day, I become less and less certain that he has that in his bag. I'm going to lower the camera. We haven't seen Caleb Williams be good for more than like a game in 2 years. I will bring you back to my 2024 NFL draft scouting process. The first thing I did was grade Caleb Williams' 2023 season, his final season in college. And I graded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. That's a lot of games. That's more games than I grade for most prospects. Oh, granted, Caleb Williams is a little different than most prospects. He had a lot more hype. Through those 7 games, he had 0 good games. They were all C's and D's with 1 B at the end against a bad UCLA team. And I was desperate. Because, man, it sucks to be the guy who says, you know that quarterback that you all think is the best prospect of all time, very literally? And I can pull receipts if you think that people weren't saying that. Yeah, he actually sucks, dude. You know all those cool highlights in that Heisman Trophy? They're fake, bad. I don't like doing that. I know I do it a lot, but I hate that I have to do it. I'd rather everybody just be as good as advertised. It would be so much easier, and my comments or my mentions would be so much more pleasant. So I went back to 2022, and I graded a couple games, and they weren't so good. Until the very end of the season, Caleb Williams had 3 games, Utah, UCLA, Notre Dame. And in those 3 games, he was really good. He was the guy that I was promised I would see if I watched all the tape. But in his rookie season, Caleb Williams looked a lot more like that 2023 guy, and I kind of realized, I don't know if there's a correlation, and correlation doesn't prove causation. So there is a correlation. I don't know if there's a causation. Ever since Caleb Williams got his pretty painted fingers on the Heisman Trophy, he's been kind of trash. All 2023, he was trash. His deep ball has always been abysmal. And in the NFL last year, it was about the worst in the league. I graded 52 deep balls. He was accurate on 12. 52 as in almost a little more than half of 100. 12 as in the amount of donuts you buy at one time. That's disgusting. Also, whoever decided you buy 12 donuts at one time, that's also disgusting. It's too many donuts. You need half of one. So Caleb Williams can't throw the deep ball. He takes sacks he shouldn't. He doesn't protect the ball particularly well. He's small. And he's just not seeing things, especially downfield. Really bad 2024 season, bad 2023 season that we all just kind of ignore. And now in training camp through 3 days, every day it's like the sky's falling, the walls are crashing in. Caleb Williams cannot hack it at all, which makes me wonder, like, what are we doing here? If he wasn't good in 2023 and he wasn't good in 2024 and he's looking like shit in practice, what reason for optimism is there left, right? Because, like, again, my draft grade on him was I have him as a top 10 pick. He should be, I thought he was the second best quarterback behind Drake May. Gave him a 2.5 grade, which is the same grade that I gave like a Will Levis and a Trevor Lawrence. And I said, he's good. He's not great, but he'll be good. He'll be somewhere between Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes. And now it's looking like he's going to be somewhere between Kyler Murray and Bryce Young. Like, I don't know if Caleb Williams is as good as Kyler Murray because he certainly wasn't last year. And yes, the situation was bad, but if he's getting ripped off the field and throwing consecutive interceptions against a mediocre Bears defense, I don't know, man. I don't want to overreact to training camp. Training camp usually doesn't mean that much, but we're talking about a guy who makes bad decisions and can't throw the deep ball. And he's not big and he's not that fast, so he can't rely on his legs the way he did in college. I don't know why anybody would be optimistic anymore. Like, coming out in the draft, I get it. His last season in college, the NFL's a foregone conclusion. His mind was elsewhere. They had a couple unlucky losses, and suddenly he doesn't care. Whatever, fine. But when you have 2 bad seasons in a row and bad practices all your leading up to your 3rd season, maybe this is what you are. I don't know. My evaluation from spending a lot of time watching the guy was he'll be like a Kyler Murray, somewhere between Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes, like a 2.3, like fringe top 10 quarterback. Like, he'll be good. He won't be great. He'll be enough. He'll be a franchise quarterback. You wish you got a little more. You'll live without it. And if your roster's good, it won't matter at all. But like a lot like Trevor Lawrence. But now I'm starting to doubt it. And I don't know if it's because he doesn't care. Maybe he got the Heisman Trophy and he got swept up in all the, the accompaniments, the accoutrement of being super famous and rich. But it looks bad, and I'm not seeing a lot of signs for hope. That being said, if the guy can't produce in an offense that made Jared Goff an MVP candidate, get him the fuck out of the league. Right? So, like, I think he'll still produce, and he should, if I was right on my draft evaluation, he should produce really, really well. But I'm starting to think I was wrong on my draft evaluation. This guy might be worse than Jared Goff, and it could cause real problems. Because this Bears offense, if Caleb Williams is the guy everybody thought he was, is a Super Bowl offense. And if he's just the guy that I thought he was, it is still a playoff contender. But what if even I was too high on this kid? Because he's given us no reason to be excited.
I mean, all of that makes sense to me, and like it's a little bit of what we've seen. Like, he didn't look great last year. Like, he had points, especially when they changed offensive coordinators, where it seemed like they asked him to do things a little bit more within his skill set and like zone of comfort. But it still was a pretty bad year.
I mean, he had 2 games, right? He had week 11 versus Green Bay and he had week 12 versus Minnesota. And it was like, oh my God, maybe he's turning a corner. Maybe he can be decent. And then he immediately shit himself against Detroit, San Francisco, and Minnesota the second time.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, obviously those warning signs are there. And I think most fans and most people that are paying attention to football are probably a little concerned with it. The only thing, and maybe just to play a little bit of devil's advocate.
Please do.
And like, I know you said you still think that he'll produce well in the offense, and like maybe he's not as good as Goff, but do you think that's just because he was on a bad team that had Eberflus as the head coach? They switched coordinators in the middle of the year, and like, he's not looking great, but it's the beginning of training camp with a new offense, a bunch of new players, and he's still a second-year quarterback. So like, I hesitate on saying anything like remotely conclusive or even being like overly worried, just because like, if you think to Jared Goff, when he got traded to the Lions, his career was over and he had already been with McVay in a much better offense. And then they actually turned him into a productive quarterback that a lot of people now think is really good. So like I think it could make all the difference in the world having a complete offense with one of the best player callers in the league, especially when you compare it to kind of a lost season, changing coaches, having a hurt and spotty line. So I guess my question is like, how much of it do you think is environmental? And do you think that like he could kind of overcome that like Jared Goff did?
Two problems. The first one is the simplest, so I'll say it first, because that's why it would be the first one. If Caleb Williams ends up being Jared Goff, he's a fucking bust.
Yeah, sure.
Jared Goff's a bust. Like, Jared Goff can produce in Ben Johnson's offense in the early days of McVay's offense when it was just like taking the world by storm, but he's not a good quarterback. So that's one. And two, and more importantly, the issues that Caleb Williams had last year are the same issues he had at USC, with a great coach in Lincoln Riley and better players than basically everybody he played against. So the issues were really bad at managing the pocket, largely because he's too arrogant, right? Like, he is a good athlete and he thinks he can escape anything. And in college, he could. In the NFL, he can escape most stuff. But that still means, I mean, like, last year he had 29 sacks that were his fault. That's 6.4% of his dropbacks. It's 3 times more often than the average starter. That's crazy. His deep ball, fucking terrible at USC. Somehow worse in the NFL. His size, he's not getting any bigger. So he just can't target certain kinds of routes over the middle, like mesh. He can't really throw mesh. He's going to hit the center in the back of the head, which I mean, he's 6 foot. He's 6 foot and he throws sidearm. Sorry. As a short king, I feel your pain. But, you know, there are certain things we don't do, like reach for the top shelf at the grocery store, change a light bulb without a stool, or throw mesh. So those are the big two, right? Or the big three. Deep ball, second level, sacks. They all showed up. And yes, it was a little chaotic, but before he met Caleb Williams, Shane Waldron was a pretty well thought of offensive coordinator. He's certainly no Nate Hackett, right? Like, he was a legitimate dude. Maybe not a head coach, but like an average at worst OC. 6 weeks with Caleb Williams and people are calling for his head. Matt Eberflus sucks, yeah, sure. But that shouldn't affect Caleb Williams. And then finally, like, what I do when I grade these plays is I try to isolate blame and credit. So like, if a wide receiver makes an awesome catch on a bad throw, I don't give the quarterback credit for the bad throw. If the offensive line blows a play and the quarterback gets hung out to dry, I don't blame the quarterback for the sack. And when I isolate and I just try to distill down, like, what is Caleb Williams contributing? I gave him a D average. Like his GPA on the season was 1.39. That's bad.
And remind me, what's the like average starter?
A 2.
What's his GPA? 2?
2 is a C, and a flat C is like pretty average. The threshold, the Dak line, is a 2.3, which is a C plus, which is like Dak, Kirk Cousins, Andy Dalton. This guy's enough. He's maybe not our franchise quarterback, but we're certainly not looking to replace him. And then a 2 is like a Kyler Murray, like a Jalen Hurts. Like, this is enough. Every once in a while, you'll get a decent performance, but like, really, we need a starter. A Jared Goff is a 2. And right now, rocking a 2.4. Let's assume he takes a 0.2 jump into his second year, which is pretty normal. He's still under 2. If you can't break 2, you're in the rare air of like Daniel Jones, Tua, Bryce Young. And even Bryce Young's climbing out of that.
Yeah. I mean, like, from the film that I've watched that you've sent me and like things of that, on top of like just watching him, I mean, I kind of agree with you. Like, his deep ball is terrible.
It's so, and it goes up and it never comes down. It's a straight line. There's no arc on it. And so he has to be perfect for it to land anywhere near catchable, and it never is. So like, his mechanic means that he has to be perfect, and his inability means that he never is close to perfect. So he's fucking hit 12 out of 52. 52 is amongst the most. Like, he throws the deep ball more often than damn near anybody, and he also is the worst at it. It's insane.
So then my next question is, say he gets, a little bit better and is kind of in that like in between of like not quite 2, but closer to it.
Dude, if he's a 2, if he's Kyler Murray caliber, I have the technology. I can pull this up. If he can just be Mike Penix, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, Jordan Love, Jared Goff caliber, we're talking about a 10-win team.
Yeah, because that's kind of what I'm getting at of if he's, in that realm of like not good, but he has things that are usable.
Well, and if he was the guy that I thought he would be, he's up here with like Geno Smith and Trevor Lawrence, NFC Championship, legit. This team is just as good as that Lions team last year, and they stole the secret formula from the Lions. They got the guy who made the Lions offense great, and assuming Caleb Williams is a significant upgrade from Jared Goff, you got better receivers, similar-ish offensive line, better quarterback, same play caller. It should be the NFC Championship, but I don't believe.
All right. Well, bringing it back to that, and I know you said like you lean over, and probably because of that, because just like you said, even if he's still not very good, it's still a 10-win team.
He needs to be competent, and they're a 10-win team. Plus, the schedule is easy because they were dog shit yet again.
Right. Because like even last year, they still won 5 games. Like that's not a lot, but when you go from terrible head coach and a lot of holes on the roster to presumably really good head coach that's an offensive magician and you patched up almost all of those holes, that's more than 3 wins.
So, okay, Dallas. Dallas is going to be a mess this year. Raiders. Raiders are a mess this year. They just cut their fucking second best defensive player. Washington, I think the Bears are a better team now. They should have beat them last year, and now the Bears have a brilliant head coach instead of an idiot. Saints, I'm high on the Saints. It's iffy. I lean Bears. Giants, at least one Packers game because that's how God works. Like, at least Cleveland. Like, right there, we just listed off what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games that we think are like pretty sure they're going to win. And then we haven't even gotten into the division. What they could sweep Detroit. I wouldn't be shocked. Like, so everything's on the table. We haven't even talked about the defense. I think the defense is a little overrated, but it's solid. It's better than the Lions defense was last year. Last year, the Lions defense was dog shit. Right? So we got a defensive line that is pure mediocre. Like Montez Sweat is okay. Jervon Dexter is okay. Grady Jarrett at this age is okay. I don't know who you're starting as your second defensive end. I really hope it's not Dio Odeyingbo, but that's fine. The linebackers, TJ Edwards is sick as fuck. Tremaine Edmonds is not at all. Do you see that ESPN's like blind rankings from executives, they put Trey Edmonds in the top 10?
What?
Yeah. Like every summer, ESPN does the like, we polled so many executives anonymously and they ranked their best players at these positions. And they had fucking Trey Edmonds like 5.
That's insane.
He's bad.
Is it just because he's fast and was a first-round pick?
That's because when he was drafted, he was 20 years old, and they're like, he's still pretty young. Like, seriously. It's did you know that Matt Stafford played baseball with Clayton Kershaw? Like, did you know that Trey Edmonds actually is still only 27? It's like, yeah, and he's been bad for 7 years. And then the secondary, Jalen Johnson's really good. Kyler Gordon's good, but super fucking overrated for some weird reason. Tyreek Stevenson's fine when he's not taunting fans. And then Brisker and Byard are fine safeties. Like, the Bears have a safety named Major Burns.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's one of the good ones. They also have a linebacker named Power Eccles.
They just went for names.
Yeah, well, with your UDFAs, you might as fucking well.
Exactly. This is a lotto pick. Let's get the guy named Power.
Oh my goodness, the Bears have Tano and passing y'all. He is so athletic. I thought he was going to be something. He kind of was for a little bit, but now he's older. It's over. It's not going to happen. Oh, you know who I like? I really hope Austin Booker, defensive end out of Kansas, I really hope he wins the edge 2 job because he is just so bendy and quick. He's got something. If you saw his tape, you'd be like, oh, I see it. There's a burst in him. But yeah, so it's a solid defense with a really good defensive coordinator in Dennis Allen. The Bears upgraded everything dramatically. Like instead of a shitty defensive play caller, they have a good one. Instead of a mediocre at best offensive coordinator, they got an elite one. Instead of a head coach with his head squarely up an ostrich's ass, they got one of the best ones. Granted, he's inexperienced for now. That'll change every week. Offensive line went from okay to really good. Like everything is just so much better. They should be a really good team. But what's Caleb Williams? What has Caleb Williams done to make you think that he could be good over the last 2.5 years? Everything out of training camp is he sucks. Everything we saw last year is he sucks. And everything that we saw his last year in college was he sucks. That's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely reason for concern.
Last time Caleb Williams was good for multiple games in a football season, for 3 games in a football season, the fans were wearing COVID masks in the stand. It's not a joke. Now, it was LA, so they were doing that a little bit later than most, but the point remains.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to, like, even if he's not good, it's just can Ben Johnson maximize him? And, like, okay, he can't throw deep, can he create an offense that doesn't really require him to, and it's still effective?
Well, and that's part of the reason for my optimism is like what Ben Johnson does is he takes the Shanahan system kind of, and he just ramps that bitch up. So like it's a lot of outside zone running. It's really well designed running game, a lot of play action. But then whereas the Shanahan system is built on like hit this 5 yard in, hit this 5 to 10 yard in, or like hit this flat off to the side, the Stefanski special. Ben Johnson's like hit this 15 yard in. Just push it a little further downfield. We're gonna run a screen, but we're gonna get the entire team out in front of the receiver. Like it's just a little bit more aggressive and it creates a little bit more explosiveness. Problem is, in order to throw a 15 yard in, you have to throw over the offensive line, which means Caleb Williams is going to have to take a little bit deeper of a drop than he's used to. I think he can do it. In college, they took really deep drops and he threw over the middle pretty damn well. They ran mesh a lot in college because he would take extra deep drops. They'd run extra wide splits because you can do that in college. You can't get away with it in the NFL. And he'd throw between the linemen on his mesh routes over the middle. It's all there. It absolutely could and should work. I don't have any reason to be encouraged about Caleb Williams anymore. I just need like one good day of camp where they're like, oh, he looked like an NFL quarterback for the first time in 3 fucking years. Dude, it's years. Again, you won't find me complaining about any other quarterback having a bad camp, because every other quarterback has showed me they belong or don't in the last 3 years. It's that simple.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've kind of talked it through of we're just going to have to see. Like, I think at this point he needs to prove that he can be that player. Whereas, other guys like Drake May, for example, he's already shown that he can do things like you expected him to.
Yeah.
And so like he doesn't need to prove it. He just has to kind of continue to confirm it. Whereas Caleb Williams, even, your draft grade on him was he's not going to be everything, but he's going to be a solid quarterback that you can win big games with.
And he's got to prove he can even do that.
But he's played like someone that shouldn't be a starter.
We'll know by the bye week. The Bears have a bye week 5. Week 5, when the Bears are on the bye, if they're even hinting that Caleb Williams might not be the fucking man on Chicago Talk Radio, you turn on 670 and they're like, I don't know, it's okay. He's bad. By week 5, they better be sucking his fucking dick. Because
it's a tough bye week for him, though.
It's a terrible bye week. But when you're going to play Detroit, and no, actually, Detroit's defense is really fucking good now. We'll talk about that in a minute. You're going to play Dallas and the Raiders back-to-back in late September with your elite offensive mind coach. If he's not putting up big fucking numbers against Dallas and Vegas, there's a problem.
Yeah, that's fair. Because, starting with Minnesota is tough.
Those 2 games are fucking tough.
And going to Detroit in the second week, there's going to be all the hype about Ben Johnson returning and all of that. Those are 2 really tough weeks. So
super tough.
I don't want to read into those ones because new offense, all of that. Like, it takes a minute. But I agree with you. Dallas, like, if they don't at least have a decent game against Dallas and then put up numbers against Oakland, Vegas, you got me that time. Then yeah, it's time to be like, okay, how can we salvage this?
Dude, and if you can't put up big fucking numbies on Washington out of the bye, that's Tyson Bagent's music. That's bad.
Which is just a horrible thing to have to consider.
Oh, it's dereliction of duty that it's even an option. The fact that after a terrible year of Caleb Williams, you don't get a backup that you really think you can ride, like, that's not Case Keenum. We didn't even fucking talk about the tight ends. Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. That's fucking sick, dude. This team is stacked. This is the best Bears team since the Cutler era.
And we'll see how it goes.
It won't go.
It's exciting, though.
I don't believe in Caleb Williams. I just personally, the vibes are bad, and the film's not good enough to dissuade me of believing the vibes.
No, and that's fair, but
it might be the most.
The only way we're going to find out is watching some football in September.
Now I'm so excited. All right, let's talk about my favorite team in the entire NFL. Your one?
Next up, we have the Minnesota Vikings with a win total projection of 8.5.
Yeah, the fact that the Vikings, who lost 2 games last year, second best record in football, they got better and their win total is still the same as the Bears. So you can go ahead and cha-ching that motherfucker because this is our best bet of the week.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is ridiculous. Yeah, and it's not even like they have a tough schedule. Cleveland, Atlanta, Seattle, Dallas, Giants, That's 5 wins right there. And I haven't even gotten into any of the games that are remotely difficult. They also
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh's okay now. They've added so much that like
I mean, Minnesota's a lot better than that.
oh, Minnesota's better than everybody. It's the best team in the league, and they have an 8.5 win total. Smash that motherfucker. I'm in my place of work right now. I'm in my office at 9:30 p.m. But alas, on a Friday, I just realized how fucking sad that is. It's New York City and it's raining. I don't care. I love this Vikings team. We're big fans of Cock on this podcast.
Oh, huge fans.
Cock keeps it interesting. He's not as aggressive and pointed as I would like him to be, but he gets there. We're gonna save the quarterback for last again because that's also fucking fun and interesting.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, that's the most interesting part of the team. Kind of same as Chicago, where it's like, we know what most of the team is,
Yeah, I mean, like,
but what is the quarterback?
get it out of the way right away. We know that it's one of the very best wide receiving cores in the league, top 5 for sure. Justin Jefferson is healthy this year, although actually he hurt himself today.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure they just announced that he is hurt.
Yeah. But he missed time last year. And they were, again, Justin Jefferson missed time last year. Significant time. They lost 2 games the entire fucking season. They won, or maybe 3. They won 14 games, maybe 15. It's ridiculous. It's the most wins ever of a wild card team in history. Think about that. Jordan Addison is really coming into his own. Hopefully he can stop driving cars. Just stop. Just stop. Also, if he would stop while driving the cars, he wouldn't be in so much trouble, but he doesn't do that either. Moving to the offensive line, last year, Christian Darrisaw missed like the entire year. This is an elite left tackle. By the way, this team won 14 games with no Christian Darrisaw and no Justin Jefferson for significant portions of the year. Is that good? Is that impressive? That's not all, though. They also added a new center, Ryan Kelly. Stalwart, B-plus center, very smart, been around forever. They added his best friend, Will Freeze. Really good guard. B to B plus. Solid. Ryan O'Neal's healthy. And they drafted Donovan Jackson, who's going to play left guard, but he could play tackle. So basically, they moved their entire starting offensive line from last year either to other teams or to backups. And they improved every single fucking position. So you're telling me that this team is adding back an elite receiver and improving dramatically on their offensive line. By the way, TJ Hawkinson, top 10 tight end in the NFL, he's going to play this year, which didn't happen last year. How the fuck did their win total go down? They got better everywhere, dramatically.
Well, obviously, it's because they got rid of the engine behind that entire team, which was Sam Darnold, regardless of the fact that the second half of the season, he was bad.
Sam Darnold is not nearly as bad as he looked in Carolina, because nobody is. We saw that with Baker Mayfield. But he's not fucking good. He's a severely flawed player. Kevin O'Connell put him in a position, however, where he can throw wide open deep routes. He can sit in the pocket off play action and wait for things to develop a little bit because his pocket awareness is just bad. Like he panics and he can't really he sees ghosts. He's said it before. In comes JJ McCarthy, who, by the way, was probably going to beat him out for the starting job last year as a rookie. JJ McCarthy is significantly more physically talented. He's way faster with a more powerful arm. For some reason, people think that JJ McCarthy has a weak arm simply because Michigan didn't throw the ball a lot, which is insane to me. Because, like, Anthony Richardson didn't throw the ball a lot at Florida, but we all knew he had a big arm. So what the fuck? I think JJ McCarthy's going to be really good. He's a lot of Zach Wilson, but instead of being put in a really shitty position where he's going to be overwhelmed like Zach Wilson was, he's going to be put in a really easy position where he has a ton of time and room to grow slowly. The very similar physical attributes to Zach Wilson, a little less dumb, but still kind of maybe dumb. He's got the best coach possible coaching him. He's super fucking young. He's a 5-star recruit for a reason. And he's got all the talent in the world. I think that he'll be like a 2.4. So, like, again, Geno Smith, Trevor Lawrence caliber. And I think that in this offense, the 2.4, as we saw last year from Sam Darnold, loses only 3 fucking games. This is the team I'm going to bet on the Vikings every single fucking week this year, just like I did last year.
Only problem will be as the season goes on, people are like, "Oh, this is a wagon," then your numbers are going to be bad.
We thought that last year too, and it never happened.
Yeah, but I think with rookies, like once they have a handful of good weeks, you start buying in. Whereas like Sam Darnold, one, he started to play poorly towards the end of the year, so I think that was part of the reason. But 2, like we've seen him be a mid at best quarterback at a lot of places that people are always going to be like, well, when's he coming back to earth? Whereas like JJ McCarthy, it's because like he didn't throw that much at Michigan.
Yeah.
And he looked really good when he was throwing, but still it was a pretty protected environment. And he looked good early, like in the training camp stuff, but then he immediately, was it his ACL?
He fucked up his knee. Yeah. I don't know how he
Yeah,
fucked
somehow he tore something in his knee and missed his entire rookie year. And like, yeah, sure, he can still learn the offense and be doing mental reps, but until he's actually out on the field making the throws and seeing it, I don't think he gets that much experience. So I feel like it's just he's such an unknown.
He is a rookie. He's effectively a rookie. And you know who said that you only get better by playing football, not by sitting on the sideline? Thomas Edward Brady. You know, the guy people cite as the reason you need to sit a guy down for their first year. Yeah, so if Tom Brady, one of the most famous benched for his rookie season quarterbacks ever, if he says that you don't learn on the bench, you don't fucking learn on the bench. But still, I think a rookie J.J. McCarthy will be plenty enough. I think we already have seen what Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold are with cock and without cock. J.J. McCarthy will be A-OK. Additionally, last year, Aaron Jones, their starting running back, my fantasy football team's running back, he was hurt for a lot of the year, and he wasn't very good. He's back, healthy, and even if he doesn't produce that well because, he's getting older, they brought in Jordan Mason. So a really good running back from San Francisco. So I think just every facet of this offense is so impressive. And I have a guilty confession. I like J.J. McCarthy. I want him to do well. I think he will do well. And I'm going to bet on him and the Vikings every week. For my own morbid curiosity, I so desperately want to see Sam Howell in this offense because I think I could make a lot of people shut the fuck up forever. And I mean that in the secondary meaning. Like, if Sam Howell came into my Vikings with my cock and tore the league apart, I'd need new shorts.
You'd be basking in it for weeks.
I'd be insufferable. You have to run away. You couldn't escape my wrath. No one could. You didn't even disagree with my Sam Howell evaluation. I'd be on your ass every week on the podcast because you're a human and you're not me. I don't know. I don't want to risk it because I love this Vikings team too much. I believe in J.J. McCarthy, et cetera, et cetera. But God forbid anything were to happen to his sweet Illinois. Barrington, or no, was it? I think it was Barrington. He's a Southwest suburbs kid, okay? He's on the good list. If anything were to happen to our sweet Midwestern Chicagoland area prince, I'd love to see Sam Howell just fucking torch people. Shall we talk D?
Let's talk some D. We finished with the cock. Now it's time for the D.
Yeah, Minnesota's really gay like that, huh? Just cock and D dueling all the time. Brian Flores is Brian Flores the best defensive coordinator in football? You could argue. I might argue he is. Between him and Jesse Minter right now for me. They are building something special, but they're still one cornerback away. And I think I know who I want that cornerback to be, but right now it is not who I want it to be. Starting on the defensive line, Jonathan Allen is still solid. Defensive tackle. He's fine. Harrison Phillips is still fine. Mostly just a run stuffer at this point, but, it's fine. Javon Hargrave, he's not what he once was. If he can get back to his prior form, real good. But, they've got 3 mediocre aging defensive tackles. The fun part is Jonathan Grenard. Nobody saw this dude coming. Speed rusher, 1-for-1 trade, Danielle Hunter for Jonathan Grenard, and Jonathan Grenard was just as effective rushing the passer. Now, he leaves a little to be desired in run defense, but that's why you have Jonathan Allen and Harrison fucking Phillips. On the other side, you've got Ivan Pace, I was like, that's not right. He's an inside backer. You've got Andrew Van Ginkel, who's fine. Van Ginkel is really useful for Flores because Flores likes to move him around and do lots of weird shit like he used to do with Kyle Van Noy and even Jamie Collins back in the day. But he's not that good. He's just reliable and smart. And he goes to practice early and his dad was a coach and I don't know, something about Viking DNA. I hope we get a larger dose of Dallas Turner this year because I really like Dallas Turner. The burst, the fucking vines for arms between him and Jonathan Grenard, you could really wreak some fucking havoc. But even if it is Van Ginkel, you've got a lot of depth. You basically got 6 really good defensive linemen, however you want to organize them. That's a lot of depth and a lot of high-end talent too between Grenard and Turner. I love that. And then, yeah, Ivan Pace and Blake Cashman, really good inside linebackers. I love both of them. Almost opposite players, but both really good. The problem is on the back end. I like Byron Murphy as a nickel, only as a nickel, never on the outside. And Josh Metellus is like solid. I gave him a B coming out of Michigan, and I think that he's earned that. Harrison Smith, like, can you really play safety at 58 years old?
He's gonna find out.
I fucking guess. Like, yeah, he's the smartest safety. At this point, he's the smartest safety we've ever seen because age begets wisdom at some point. The man's Gandalf back there.
I mean, Ed Reed was one of the smartest safeties ever playing. He also played until he was into his 40s.
Well, Ed Reed could move. Like Harrison Smith at his peak was a hybrid safety. Like he was a combo safety. He was a little bit more of a box guy than a free safety. At 40, he's playing center field. It's a heavy system, which means there's a lot of pressure on him. It can't keep working, but it seems to keep working. The fact that Lewis Seen couldn't crack this roster is like so depressing because he's so athletic and he hits so hard, and I liked him a lot coming out of Georgia. But there's got to be something really wrong with him either mentally or after he broke his leg because the Vikings passing on him and rolling out 40-year-old Harrison Smith with Theo Jackson and Jay Ward as the only backups is insane. Now, here's my big issue. The starting corners are Isaiah Rodgers and Jeff Okudah. Those are like notoriously two of my least favorite corners in the entire NFL. The fact that Jeff Okudah is still in this league getting money goes to show that nobody watches football. But he's terrible.
Yes.
I told you he was terrible when he got drafted.
Yeah, you were all over that. Like as soon as you started watching tape, you were like, this is not a good player. He should move to safety and then he has a shot.
Yeah. And honestly, he's really bad at playing the ball. So like he can't really be a safety either. He's bad. He'll lose that starting job to Mekhi Blackman, but you desperately need to go find Stephon Gilmore and ask him how much money he wants and then give him an extra $1 million. Cause fuck. That's the only weakness on this team. And that's a bad week. Now, Brian Flores can mitigate a bad secondary better than damn near anybody, but you'd really rather he didn't have to.
Yeah. It's a big weakness to have because it can just completely flip games on you.
Yeah.
Your corners start getting burned and they get a couple quick scores off of deep throws. And then you go from like comfortably winning or being in a close game to then it's sirens.
Yeah. I mean, it's even just one guy. Just get Jeff Okudah off the fucking field.
Yeah.
That
needs to happen.
I'm trying to think of who might come available, but it's really just Stephon Gilmore. Go get fucking Stephon Gilmore back, knock Jeff Okudah off the depth chart, and suddenly you're fine. Because Isaiah Rodgers is, he's a C+ guy. You won't die.
Yeah. If he's your second boundary corner, you can live with it.
Especially if you've got a really good CB1 in Gilmore, and then you've got a really good slot in Byron Murphy.
Right.
Yeah, no, you can definitely get by with that. But yeah.
But when your CB1 is Jeff Okudah, it all kind of comes crashing down.
Yeah. Something tells me that at some point Jeff Okudah is going to cost me the rent.
Oh, that's almost guaranteed.
Well, we're still betting on Minnesota on the over, but it's time to move on to the next team.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Okudah is not taking us down 4 wins from what we think they're going to be. All right, moving on. Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers with a win total projection of 9.5.
Dumb, also bad. Now, Bears fandom aside, which has turned into Vikings fandom, which also it just always is Packers hate. For the first time, I think ever, I'm just not afraid of the Packers. I am not impressed. I do love Matt LaFleur, which is why I did our countdown for this section or segment in French. But what about this roster inspires you? So Elgton Jenkins is a really good center. I don't know why they're playing him at center, but that's what they want to do. And I really love Zach Tom, obviously. That's kind of where the impressiveness stops. Like Tucker Kraft is good. He's not special. Luke Musgrave is good. He's not special. I think Josh Jacobs is just so painfully average. And like it's a really good offensive system, especially for running the ball. So he'll put up stats, but he's not a game breaker. Romeo Doubs might actually be the definition of average. Like he might be a better approximation of average than Dak is. Like what literally when I watch football, like when I'm scouting in the offseason and I'm trying to figure out exactly how to peg a particular trait, I think, how is Romeo Doubs, how is he at this trait? Because that's B. That is the definition of B. Matthew Golden is pretty good, but I don't know why they needed him. Because like Christian Watson does the same thing, and yes, he's hurt all the time, but then like you already had Dontavian Wicks and Jalen Reed, who are both movers who need more targets anyway. So why did you bring in a small deep threat who's not actually a deep threat? Why did you go after Savion Williams, who's much more of a running back than a wide receiver? And the answer is because they're trying desperately to prove to themselves and everybody else that Jordan Love actually doesn't suck really bad, but he does. He sucks. He's bad. He's always been bad. I don't know why people ever believed in him, but that's what it comes down to. Like their running game is going to be slightly above average just because of scheme, and their passing game is going to be below average because Jordan Love. And it'll average out to like 9 wins, but so I can't bet against them, obviously. But I'm not. This team is not finishing in second place.
Yeah, I would be shocked. I think they're fighting to stay out of fourth.
Yeah, no, I think they're the worst team in the division, and I don't. The worst team in this division could win a lot of other divisions, but
Right.
I don't think they're certainly not as good as the Vikings, probably not as good as the Lions. And if I almost called him Justin Fields, yikes. If Caleb Williams can be anything close to what he's supposed to be, I don't think they're very close to being as good as the Bears. So the offense we've described is slightly above average. It's good. It's barely good. It's okay to good. The defense, it's the same story every year. It doesn't matter what kind of talent they accumulate, it's going to be bad because it just is. Like, Rashawn Gary should be great. I doubt he fucking plays the full season because he never does. And when he does play, it won't matter that much because it just doesn't. It just never does. Kenny Clark, he used to be so dominant, and now he's so mid, and honestly, often below mid. Devontae Wyatt just doesn't seem like he's going to figure it out. He doesn't put it together. He's got the physical ability. He just can't play. And Lucas Van Ness. Lucas Van Ness is white Adrian Claiborne. He can bull rush, and he can even bull rush. And he'll get 7 sacks a year, all off the bull rush. Quay Walker and Edge Cooper are both athletic, but don't know how to play linebacker. And the secondary has quietly gone to utter dog shit. You give up Jair Alexander, an elite cornerback, for free because because he gets hurt and he's kind of pissed off that he gets hurt? Oh, okay. That's dumb. Now you're rolling with Keyshawn Nixon and Nate Hobbs. You're rolling with the secondary that got the Raiders, Ashton Genty. So that's not good. You probably shouldn't do that. And then like Javon Bullard, you're kicking from strong safety down to nickel. You better hope you don't face a fast nickel or slot receiver. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown or
Luther Burden.
Yes, or is it Jalen Naylor? Is that the fucking guy? It's Naylor, right? The third guy?
It is Naylor. I don't know his first name, but I know it's Naylor.
Fuck, son. Like, that's his whole thing. He's not very good, but he's very, very fast. So, yeah, he's going to get fucking cooked all year. Like, every slot receiver in your division is a freak athlete, and you are a strong safety. You guys are playing 4-3, basically. That's not good. And then your real safeties are going to be Evan Williams. Do you know who Evan Williams is? I don't fucking know.
I think he makes whiskey.
I was going to say, I don't even particularly like it. And I'm a whiskey guy.
It's bad.
And then Xavier McKinney, who had a great year last year, but I don't buy it. He's not fast enough, and I don't trust him in coverage. Like, he's awesome in the box, but you've already got 3 fucking linebackers on the field between your 2 linebackers and Javon Bullard. So I'm not excited about the secondary at all. I'm not impressed by the front 7 either because they've proven to me time and time again that they're just not that guy. I think their defense is slightly below average. Their offense is slightly above average. They have a really good coach. It screams 9 wins.
Yeah, it just feels like it's a team that they've got a lot of, like professional football players.
Yeah.
They've got guys that can start and do a decent job, but they've got holes on the offensive line. They don't really have like much variety in their skill position players or their pass catchers. It's kind of all the same type of dude, which they have a great offensive coordinator, so they can figure that out.
Well, I think that they have a lot of the same dude, but that same dude is pretty versatile. Like, Jalen Reed and Dontavian Wicks can do anything. It's just they're not fantastic at any one thing. And then, like, Romeo Doubs is average at everything. And Matthew Golden's kind of, like, pretty average at everything. So it's like they're all kind of undersized except for Doubs. Like, all kind of do everything, but none of them are, like, really good at any particular thing. I don't see the vision.
Yeah, I guess it's more they just feel like complimentary guys. Like
they're all pieces. They don't have a guy.
Right.
And then they drafted Matthew Golden in the first round to be the guy, but he's not a guy. He's a complimentary piece. He was a complimentary piece at fucking Texas.
And like you can get away with that because if you still have a handful of guys that you can throw the ball to that you trust and can get open, they don't have to be great, but you need a good system, which they have, and then you need at least a decent quarterback, which to this point they haven't really had. Like Jordan Love has had his moments and he's got the big arm and he can move, so he has highlight plays. Plus he's in a good system, so he gets easier opportunities, but he's just not at all consistent.
The
And I feel like you need a
motherfucker,
consistent quarterback in this system.
he throws off his back foot every single fucking play. That's not I'm not like, oh, he throws off his back foot too. No, like every play he throws a fadeaway. And that's why he has no control over where the fucking ball goes. So like I'm notoriously like, I don't give a fuck about your mechanics or your footwork. That's bullshit. Most of the time when people bring it up, they're making things up because they heard those words and they just need something to say. But Jordan Love is clear as day. You're telling me that a guy significantly struggles with his accuracy and consistency and also jumps backwards while throwing the ball every time? Sounds like we found some correlation and causation here.
Yeah, so I think that just like it really caps the ceiling on the offense where like best case scenario, they're a really well coordinated offense that has some options, but just can't do it all the time because the quarterback isn't consistent enough. He's not the guy. And like you can get away with that if you have a really good defense, but they don't. Like they've got some decent players in the front seven, but the secondary's bad. They've got a tough division. They just don't really have like even a standout position group.
This team is head to toe average.
Yeah.
And in a lot of divisions, that's a playoff team. But in this one, you're going to get a fourth place schedule, my friend.
Yeah. So I don't really have much more to say about them. I mean, we'll see. I think the only question is when do they move on from Jordan Love?
See, this is the thing. Is they're going to be in last place in the division, but they're going to be like, we won 9 games in the toughest division in football. Well, we can't replace Jordan Love. And I'm going to say, you can, and you should.
Yeah.
You
And
won't.
this is just something I'm remembering from, I think, last year when we did this. And we had a similar conversation about Jalen Hurts because, like that was, this team's so perfect around him. You just need the quarterback, but he's doesn't really do anything well and he screws up too often.
Well, that was
And I think we said like another year or two when they're going to be looking to get out. And then, it's the perfect season for him and he wins MVP or Super Bowl MVP, and that's not going to happen.
no, the danger of building a perfect team around your shit quarterback is that you could accidentally get lucky, win a Super Bowl, and never move on from the shit quarterback. But
Yeah.
the Eagles have proven very recently that they will release a motherfucker who just won you a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true. Now, granted, I think with Wentz, like it was the on-field play, but it was also that like he was weird and didn't get along with people and had all those kind of like rumors of fighting with the front office and coaching staff. And Jalen Hurts is kind of the opposite of that, where he's the ultimate teammate leader guy that everybody loves.
How did we get? Did the Birdwatcher put you up to this? How the fuck are we talking about the Eagles in the midst of the most interesting division in football?
I'm sorry, it just made me because I think that was the only guy that we talked about last year. And like not to say the same thing's going to happen to Jordan Love because the roster is a lot worse, but it is just kind of interesting to see how even if the talent still looks the same, sometimes doesn't matter.
People don't watch football games, Alex. People like to count numbers, especially box scores and wins. Shall we talk about the last team?
Let's move on. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions with a win total projection of 10.5.
It's a bad time to be taking a bite of donair, isn't it?
It's fine.
Fuck.
Little bit of dead air never hurt anyone.
Adam, what do you think of the Lions?
I mean, we'll get a much more in-depth breakdown shortly, but I mean the roster got a little bit worse on offense, and you lost your secret ingredient being Ben Johnson. So like I think the offense is going to take a pretty decent step back. Like they've still got a good offensive line. They've still got a good wide receiver room. I mean, Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra St. Brown are a really good complement to each other. Plus, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery have been a really good pairing with each other. So like the offense, I don't think it's going to be bad, but it's going to be nowhere near like it was last year.
That is
like they've still got options.
That is exactly how I feel. Like if you break it down, they lost Frank Ragnow, incredible center, lifeblood of the team center. But then they draft Tate Ratledge, who's a fucking stud. I love Tate Ratledge. He's going to walk in and be a top 10 center in his rookie year. He's amazing. And, Christian Mahogany is going to have to start at left guard now because you lose Zeitler. I love Christian Mahogany. BC Eagle, motherfucker. And also, he looked legitimately good last year when he had to play in spot duty. Taylor Decker might be healthy. He might also never be healthy. I can't get a read on this fucking guy.
Yeah, that's part of me because of saying like they lost guys is I honestly thought he was like basically retired. like
I thought
medically retired.
I've thought that Taylor Decker was medically retired since I thought Matt Stafford was medically retired 3 or 4 years ago. There are worse swing tackles than Dan Skipper, even if worse comes to worst. And you still have Penei Sewell, who's a fucking monster. And don't forget Graham Glasgow. Graham Glasgow, also a monster. So the offensive line's still going to be really good. And the running backs, David Montgomery, above average. Jahmyr Gibbs, pretty fucking sick. They're going to be good too. And if you have a sick offensive line with good running backs, most of the work has already been done for you. You don't need great coordinating or quarterback play for that to average 4 yards a carry and give you an average at worst offense, right? The Lions have never had great receivers. I know people love Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know he's freakishly productive, but he's a B-plus receiver, much like Cooper Kupp was, who just happened to be playing the slot in an extremely creative offense. I think that you'll see Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of slide back towards average. He won't be average, but he'll be worse than he has looked in the last few years, simply because he's not going to have a fucking super genius crafting production for it. He's going to have to kind of kill what he eats or eat what he kills. And he won't kill as much without the machine gun that was Ben Johnson. I think Jameson Williams is awesome. I legitimately think he's top 15 wide receiver in the NFL material. But the thing that makes him so special is that he can run deep routes really well and get open on long balls, and Jared Goff can't throw those. So not the perfect fit. The thing that really pisses me off, though, is they got my boy Isaac TeSlaa, who I think can be a stud. Alex, TeSlaa's a white boy who was a high school quarterback, and he was a JUCO quarterback. He played 2.5 years of wide receiver. He's 6'4". He ran a 4.3 at the combine. Guess how many balls he dropped? Guess how many balls he dropped last year?
2.
0.
Wow.
Guess how many he dropped the year before?
1.
Correct. He barely knows how to play wide receiver yet. Like, his release packages are terrible. He doesn't really know how to set cornerbacks up yet, but he'll learn. And when he does, he's gonna be really good. At the worst, he's a super big, super fast slot receiver with amazing hands. There are worse things. And then, you add that with Tim Patrick, and you've got 4 really useful receivers. It's going to come down to Jared Goff and the offensive coordinator. And Jared Goff is bad. Even in an incredible situation last year, he showed his ass a few times and cost them some really important games. I don't know how John Morton is going to be as an offensive coordinator. He got fired previously as an offensive coordinator under... Oh, fuck. I used to remember this. Yes, under Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles shit-canned him with the Jets in 2017. He has since been an offensive assistant and pass game coordinator in several places that had bad offenses. I don't know. Maybe he learned from Ben Johnson. There's even rumors that Dan Campbell's going to call the plays. I don't know. We'll see. I know that the offense will be decent because the line is too good and the skill players are too good. They can't be bad, even with Goff.
Yeah.
But I don't think there'll be anything close to what we saw last year. If last year was a 10 out of 10, I think this will be a 7.5 or 8. The difference is on defense. Last year, you may recall, in the NFC divisional round, the Lions had 8 starters missing on defense.
Yeah, I mean, they were decimated.
Now, one of them is gone again. Levi Onwuzurike will never play football. It's a law. He's not allowed. His back, his knees, his bones, something has to be broken every year. That being said, Aiden Hutchinson is quietly, and it's uncomfortable to say it, but it's not very close. He's the best edge in football. I know, Miles. I know, but he's better.
Are you at all worried about him coming back from...
Not at all. It's 2025. Injuries do not exist.
I just heard reports that he was taking a while. Like he had setbacks or something.
He probably had setbacks because he was pushing because he wanted to play in the fucking Super Bowl. Do you remember that shit? He was going to come back off an ACL in 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably dumb, but he has had 6 months to heal since then. He'll be fine. He's also insane and will rehab his ass off to get to where he needs to be over the course of the next month and a half.
I mean, he is very good.
Yeah, and then Marcus Davenport, actually going to play this year, we think. That's a really good edge, too. I mean, not a stud by any means, but as a complementary piece. Again, assuming he's healthy, Aleem McNeil, good, but probably won't be healthy. DJ Reader, assuming he can stay in shape long enough to play half the snaps. Great run stuffer. They drafted Tyleik Williams in the first round. That was a reach and a half, but he is good against the run. Classic nose guard type. So I think that their basic strategy on defense is our defensive tackles are just going to plug up the middle, and we're going to let Aiden Hutchinson fucking eat. And last year he had twice as many pressures as Myles Garrett when he got injured. It's nuts. And I don't think the gap between them is that big at all. I think that Aiden Hutchinson's an A+, and Myles Garrett's a different kind of A+. But if you're in the fucking conversation with Myles Garrett, you are special. So I'm very excited about this defensive line because unlike Myles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson's going to have help across the line. Everybody's going to be useful. Linebackers, Jack Campbell's going to learn how to cover one of these days, goddammit. He's so smart. He's so good in run defense. He's so fast. He just can't cover. Alex Anzalone is so smart, but that's kind of where it ends. He hits pretty motherfucking hard. But yeah, who cares? The secondary, I love Amik Robertson in the nickel. It kind of stinks that Brian Branch has to only play strong safety because Amik Robertson's going to be the nickel, but anytime you get Brian Branch on the field, it's good. Kirby Joseph's a really good free safety. Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed are mediocre cornerbacks. That's still going to be the weakness is the secondary, but good fucking luck because with awesome safeties and an awesome defensive line, it's hard to exploit those cornerbacks. So I still think that the Lions will be a really good team. I think they're probably going to be second place in this division, maybe third. I think it's between the Lions and the Bears for second place. It literally just depends who has the better quarterback. And this time next year, we might be talking about a Lions team in significant decline. And if the offensive coordinator, this Morton guy, if he's the guy that Todd Bowles fired, this Lions team could be a 6-win team. But I got to assume he's average. I got to assume Dan Campbell instills a level of competence on the offensive side of the ball, and the roster's too good to suck. So, again, I'm low on this team compared to everybody else. I think they'll only win 9.5 games, which is right about their win total. So, I think this entire division is fucking really scary. I love the Vikings. I think there's reason to be optimistic about the Bears if you can convince yourself that Caleb Williams doesn't chug penis. No, we're not talking about his painted nails and his lip gloss. We're just talking about his ability to play football. I think the Packers are securely mediocre, and I think that the Lions have a pretty wide range. They could be good. They can't be great. They could be good, or they could be below average, and anything in between.
Yeah. I mean, the Lions, I think it just comes down to how well do they transition losing both of their coordinators.
I don't think the defensive coordinator will matter much because they never do. But Ben Johnson, man, going from an elite offensive coordinator to possibly a bad one would be devastating.
Yeah, I mean, I even mean just the stability aspect of it yeah, Dan Campbell's still there, but they lost the two voices that are leading the offense and defense room. So yeah, it'll get figured out, but I just wonder if, will they start kind of slow because they're still ironing out offense and defense? And, normally when you change one of those guys, it's one side or the other. And, maybe the offense takes a few weeks to get up to speed, but your defense is still stable and they know what's going on. But I don't know. I mean, I think they still have a much better roster than a lot of teams. And I like Dan Campbell. I mean, he's aggressive. He has shown with the fact that he's picked good coordinators that he has a good mindset and not only just fourth downs, but generally throwing downfield and trying to score a lot. So I still think they're going to be good. I agree with you. I think second place is where they end up. I give it to them over the Bears just because they didn't have as much turnover. Yeah, they lost their coordinators, but it's not a brand new coach. It's not basically a new offensive line. But yeah, it's going to be a fun division. When the Packers, who we feel they're definitely going to win 8 or 9 games, is the worst team. It's a good division.
Yeah, and I won't be in Chicago to fucking witness it. Goddammit.
We actually have a friend that's going to the Bears-Packers game at Lambeau this year.
I think I know who it is. Packers fan?
No.
Oh.
Ravens.
Wait, what the fuck was he doing?
I'll explain it. But he basically just is getting really good deals on tickets through his job. So he's why not go to a bunch of sick football games? So he's going to a Thursday night or something in Atlanta.
That rules.
He's going to Lambeau.
Should I go to all the games at MetLife?
Just move to New Jersey.
I won't do that. Sorry, Rod. Rod or my boss, if you're listening, I didn't puke at the thought of watching a Jets or Giants game. I didn't even do it. It's great. New Jersey is wonderful. I love going to court in Trenton. I don't. Nope, we're not telling work stories on the pod. The Trenton courthouse is fun. All right, that wraps up the NFC North, which wraps up both of the Norths, which means we only have 2 more divisions to go, which can be as few as 1 podcast or as many as 2. Dude, if we can get our asses to record before Thursday next week, we get to break down a game that we could bet on.
We should be able to.
Yeah, dude, you want to do if we could do Tuesday or Wednesday, we could break down the Hall of Fame game, which is going to be fun because there are lots of interesting backup quarterbacks.
Well, then we're going to be back early next week.
We're going to drown you motherfuckers in a deluge of podcasts that are too long and too granular for anybody to truly consume. Hell yeah, Batman. Until then, this is the last time I'm going to say this for 365 days. There is no film to grind. There is no football to watch. So go watch baseball or Happy Gilmore too. And in the meantime, I'll be eating my donair. But don't forget to please bet on football games, including and especially the Minnesota Vikings season win total over. Asta.